This is Love Notes, daily devotions from Holy Trinity Lutheran Church. Grace and peace to you. God has answered, Job has responded, and now God turns the divine attention to these friends who've been part of the story all along. We switch from the poetry of Job's book back to what it began as, the prose. It says in chapter 42, verse 7, after the Lord, Yahweh, had spoken these words to Job, then Yahweh said to Eliphaz the Temanite, and we can suppose all the others listening, my wrath is kindled against you and against your two friends, for you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has. Well, there's kind of an anvil on your head, huh? All the things that they've said, God now announces were wrong. You have not spoken of me what is right. You have misrepresented me. You have said that I'm a God who rewards those who deserve rewards and punishes those who deserve punishment. But I am more than that. You have said of me that if Job just repents, then I will accept him. But I never rejected Job in the first place. All the way along, these friends have talked about God like they knew God, and yet now it's revealed that they didn't know God at all. In fact, God says, Job has spoken the truth. I am far off. I am unaccountable. I am, which is the divine name of God itself. So it says, now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take 7 bulls and 7 rams and go to my servant Job and offer up for yourselves a burnt offering. And my servant Job shall pray for you. Job shall pray for them, which is what they should have been doing for Job all the way along. For I will accept his prayer, not to deal with you according to your folly. In other words, God is still convinced that Job is such a righteous man, he will not say, strike my friends dead for all that they said. He knows that Job is going to ask for God's favor upon them. For you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has done. That's a refrain of what God is charging them with. So it says that Eliphaz the Temanite and Bildad the Shuhite and Zophar the Naamathite, and I don't know about Elihu, maybe him too, went and did what the Lord had told them, and the Lord accepted Job's prayer. Now, that might be the pinnacle of the whole book. God accepted his questions, didn't answer them. God called him to account and wouldn't let him off the hook when it came to answering. But all along, God has accepted Job's prayers. Now we might ask, what happened to Satan in all this? One of the things that we have to remember is that, especially in the older literature of the Old Testament, Satan is not a pointy-eared devil who represents the embodiment of evil. Satan is not about pentagrams and animal sacrifices and goat heads and that sort of thing. That's later developments and actually a cross-pollination with some other religions. The Satan, the accuser, is kind of God's opposing voice. That's what the snake is. The snake is God's opposing voice. God's questions, God's testing. That's what the Satan is all about. And the reason that the Satan doesn't show up here at the end is because the Satan has been proven wrong. God has been proven right. There is no need for the character anymore. Job has been found righteous, which is what God said from the very beginning. Through all of the machinations of this book, Job has remained faithful to God and has done so not because he will be rewarded, not because he will get prosperity in the end, not because he's looking to avoid punishment, but because Job is just a righteous man. He clings to that, even in the dust and ashes and suffering. That's the lesson of Job. Cling to God in the midst of it all, when times are good and bad. It's a bit like marriage vows. In sickness and in health, in riches and in want, until death parts us, let us love the Lord. The other interesting thing is, now the friends who have preached their theology, they kind of get what they preached. The reward and punishment has come to roost. It's almost as if God says, fine, if you think that's the way I work, then I'm going to take stuff away from you and I'm going to give it to Job. If that's the kind of God you want, then fine, that's what I'll be. And none of us wants that. Lord, let us not get the God we want, but the God who is. And that is something to take to the bank. Job has been faithful, and God proves him so again. Satan is silenced, and his friends, well, as the old saying goes, the chickens have come home to roost. Amen.